Hey, welcome back. My name is Eddie Bush with Craftsmanship Counts. Welcome to the channel. If you've not been here before, I hope you'll follow or subscribe. And if you like the video, it really helps me understand whether you're getting value out of what I'm doing. I would also really appreciate comments. If you have some feedback for me, and if you're here live, then why not put something in chat? I would love that. Okay, so we're in the middle of this series on Dave Thomas's Checkout Kata, shopping cart, checkout, whatever. And we're trying to evolve to some pricing rules that look like this. Right now, we're just doing these simpler ones on the left. But we really want something that's independent, where these two things are independent. You've got something that uses the checkout rules, and then you've got the checkout rules themselves, and there's not coupling between them, so that I don't know if you've ever worked for retail or any sort of shop, but these rules change all the time. There's some type of pricing change probably every day. Like, it's really exceptional if there aren't. And so you don't want to have to make a change to your system every day just to support pricing changes. You want it to be a configurable thing. So yeah. And we'll do it in stages. You'll see we're kind of doing it in stages, right? It's an evolution, and this is what we do with test-driven design: is we evolve things. We don't just jump in and say, "Here's the solution." That's called test after. It's also called harder, and you don't get the confidence of having those tests there. So let's see. We're kind of about here. Although I would suggest that this is not really any different, because, well, for our simple rules, it's not any different. CBDA, CDBA. Now, at the point we start having two B's or three A's, it's different. So this is different. That's different, right? And then this one is closest to this, but it's different than the others. Here's one with both of the special rules. So you can kind of see, and as we go down through these tests and we add tests, we're forcing the production code to become more general and to support this additional case. This is exactly what we want to do with test-driven development. The test is driving the development. Instead of coming in after and trying to figure out how to test it, the test is literally driving every little step of the way. The test says, this must be true, and it fails because it's not true yet. And then we make it true, and the test passes. And then we know from there and forever, unless somebody messes with the test, that the tests are going to keep us true to that piece of behavior always working properly. And that's why we like this approach so much. It really it saves us so much anguish. But it also speeds us up because we don't have to stop and wonder, like, oh, is that going to break something? Can I do that? You just do it, and then you run all the tests. And if the test passes, then yeah, you can do it. But if the tests don't pass, you know exactly why you can't do it. And then you say, oh, but what if I did this? And you can do this in really rapid succession. So instead of having to build something and put it out there and, and experience it maybe minutes later to say, oh, I can't do it like that. You get it in seconds, right? So it's in your train of thought at the time. You're not getting sidetracked. When it takes minutes to experience the thing that you're doing, you're going to go off and check social media, or you get distracted by conversation about your cat, right? I'm not saying it's bad to have distractions during work. In fact, it's healthy. It helps us build bonds between ourselves. But if when it's every little change, it's maybe not the healthy environment that we're looking for. So, all right, let's see, where are we at? Let's run the tests. Hey, look at that. They all pass. And we were trying to get rid of some duplication. And we kind of did that, right? We do still have the duplication of A, but we don't have the duplication of the sense. Well, we do because we've got, yeah, we kind of do. Um, no, we don't. Because we moved the A to the setup. So when we have B, we have duplication. Um, and we don't always want B in there. What we could do, though, is to get rid of this duplication, we just pull this to a method and say, given B is 30 cents, in fact, I like that so much, even though this is only done once. I do that. It doesn't seem like that's working. Oh, I'm conflating these two, and I'm thinking this is a scan. This is not a scan. This would be more like this. And I think I don't need that. I think that that is actually just I've done something bad here. No, that is a scan. I don't want it to be a scan. What have I done here? Let's back up. Okay, that one's good. And what did I do here? This is the thing. I'm so wow. Check your glasses, Eddie. Goodness. Isn't it nice that we have those tests that tell us when we screw up? Because I can't claim perfection for sure. I'm gonna take this and move it here. Should be I have this split because I was intending that I would look at the test over here and the code over there. So let me set up to where I can actually do that. And this guy is also not interesting, so I want to move him down. I mean, he's really useful, but he's not terribly interesting. in the scope of what I'm reading, other than when I read them right here. I kind of like that. This is kind of nice. Um, I could say, given a new set of pricing rules, I'm digging that. That feels good. So what I'm doing here is there's two ways to express test structure. There really is one test structure that we like to see, and but there's two ways to express it. The original is arrange, act, assert, and arrange is put system into a known state. Act is ask system to perform an operation. And then assert is we check that the system is in a new known state, or that whatever the thing is we're measuring, right? That the thing happened that we expect. But we can express this differently. Given, when, then, and you'll see. Uh, you see these used when people are having more of a BDD style. We're trying to express it in terms of uh, really trying to keep a tight focus on things being behavior oriented. In fact, BDD is behavior driven development, right? In case you didn't know that. So given is the same. And a neat way that you can remember this, you could take this perspective. I think this is kind of cool. And so what I'm trying to show here is these two things are not different. These are two ways of expressing the same things, and you can even join them, right? And it's the same thing. It's just a different way. But words are powerful. Right? Words have a great deal of power. Arrange, act, assert is a little antiseptic, right? It's a little kind of procedural. Um, Given, when, then is a bit more human. It's more kind of, well, again, behavior oriented, right? And this can be powerful because it can really, if we let it seep in, it can really affect the way that we look at everything that we're doing. And it's good to look at things as behaviors. It turns out it's really good. Uh, and it's really bad when we start looking at things mechanically, because that's when we have a tendency to want to test things that we shouldn't, like the internal state of things, or just things that are of no consequence, that um, or that watching would cause our test to become brittle, right? Or to fail for unuseful reasons um, that don't really tell us that this, or to pass for unuseful reasons that don't really tell us if the software is um, could be expected to work or not. I know that sounds weird. I'll look for an opportunity to paint that out as we go along. I guess I'll leave that there. Um, doesn't hurt anything. Hey, we got somebody. Hello, somebody. I don't know who you are, but you're more than welcome to put a comment in. Say hey. Let me know what you think. Got any questions? Throw them out there. We're up for about 15 minutes. We got 15, but the way I tend to do it, I guess it's another 30. We seem to be running more like 45 instead of 30. Um, okay, so we have kind of pushed these rules out. I like that I don't have this duplication now. Um, I could um, um, I could turn this into that. And again, this is trying to make it read better, and I'm actually kind of getting rid of some duplication too. I don't know how I like that. I do like it, and I don't. Somebody's gonna look at that and say, "Dude, it's just one line. Like, why would you pull that out to a method? Like, why wouldn't you? Does it read better? Does it? Or, so when you're looking at a specific line of code, the way I want you to learn to measure its cleanliness is I want you to look at that line of code and uh, realize the amount of time, try to realize the amount of time it takes you to read it and properly understand it, right? And that last part's really important, and properly understand it, because this will make you not do things on a line of code that you would otherwise do. Um, it will cause you to simplify lines of code. And I mean, this is really straightforward. When I scan A, and here's something that's just repeated everywhere, right? Um, but I'm not really. It's this isn't such a bad repeat. I'm just asking the system to do its thing. Um, if I wanted to, though, I could say, well, I'm not really. Um, if I'm trying to have this method be written at the same level of abstraction, then I'm not really doing that, or I'm not really pulling that off. I always give myself a little more grace on that in tests than I do in production code, but it could be a reason that we would want to do something here. Um, yeah, this is. Let's try that on for size. When I uh, ask for total, um, see this doesn't. To make it read well, what I would really like to do something like that. Assert that the total is equal to and I could even do this again. And frankly, if I'm going that direction, I may actually inline this price of let's see here. Given a new set of pricing rules, given A is 50 cents, um, uh, given a new checkout that uses these pricing rules, should be given a rule that A is 50 cents. Given a rule that A is 50 cents. Yeah. I like that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I could see doing something else even to make this read a little bit better, but this is probably fine. I'm going to stop loving on this. I need to actually. This is. When I do a kata, my whole purpose here in doing a kata is to pay attention to how I'm working and to learn from it, right? So I'm not pushing myself to be like, I must solve this now. In fact, I might throw it away and come back and just restart it. And it's not important that I finish it. It is important that I try to learn the lessons that the kata has to teach me. And that's not about solving it, it's about working through problems of different types, right? Getting the opportunity and noticing that I'm getting the opportunity to focus on a given technique and understanding how then that's applicable to um, uh, other scenarios. You know, some of these really simple scenarios, when you then go and into a more complex piece of code, you're like, oh, this is like that kata. But um, you have to be looking for that. You have to be watching for it, right? You have to understand the lesson that the kata is teaching you. Um, and you just get that through iteration. Um, in fact, the important thing about deliberate practice, which is what we're doing right now, we're not performing. We're doing practice. We're doing deliberate practice, and we're trying to do it in a as clean a way as possible. Um, I'm not going to say perfect, but we're looking for learning opportunities, and we're trying to reinforce um, good practice in ourselves as we go through this, right? And we may not do every single piece of this if we were sitting down and we're doing prod code, right? But the more that we iterate and we get practice doing these things, the more they're in our mind. And what that means is that it is faster and easier to lay this stuff down when we are working on prod code. The thing that holds us back from doing these things when we're working and we have time pressure is simply that they are not they're not as accessible to us as the way that we have previously done things. We have tons of iteration on the way that we've previously done things, and so it's easy to fall into that, right? These new things that we're trying to pick up and learn, we need to get a certain critical mass of iteration on them, so that when we are in a situation that we're trying to apply a new skill to our production work, that what we've got that iteration, and so now it's comfortable enough for us. We have enough proficiency that it makes it accessible to us in that situation. It makes it easy to reach for instead of difficult to reach for. I hope that's a useful thought. It's a really big one, and it's why deliberate practice is so important. We really just need to. We all should take time for it. It can be difficult to do that, but we should all take time for it. Okay, man, I'm really digging this, right? And I actually think that's a nice place to leave things. It's a nice, nice way to polish the day off. Um, just kind of put it there for a second. And thank you to whomever is out there. I I suppose this is somewhat entertaining for you, because you're still here. So I would love to hear from you. If you have any feedback, to say that this is good or horrible, or I'm funny looking or acting, or oh, I shouldn't have done it like that. You're always welcome to give me whatever feedback you would like to, and I promise I'll receive that um, very happily. So, yeah, well, that's it for today. We just did a little bit of refactoring here to um, uh, kind of change the shape toward looking more like a BDD style of a unit test. And I think it's important to realize that you can do this. You can do this just in any Um, you can follow this style in anything. You don't have to use cucumber. Cucumber can be really great. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go look at it. Um, but you can do this too, and this is again with regard to thinking in terms of um, things being readily accessible because of where we're at with regard to our skill. This is for most people going to be something that's more highly accessible, and it is an easier and in some ways, depending upon what your criteria are that you're judging by, in some ways it's simpler and easier, and in other ways it's not. Um, Having a set of gherkin that sits outside of this, gherkin is the language of how you write the given when then, and you do it for a BDD framework like cucumber. That is gherkin. So you could go. It's a GH. Let me just spell it. There you go. Yeah, you can follow this anywhere, and in fact, I don't know if I'll do this. But another thing we could do as we start abstracting out the way that we're doing this is we could even create like a layer of indirection, and that sounds like stupid, right? Until you start thinking like I could set these tests up and I could use these same tests for unit tests, and then by swapping out um, an implementation under the covers, I could go from unit testing to doing acceptance testing, and then it sounds pretty cool, right? I don't know if we'll do that. I think that's kind of a big lift to go from here. I mean, we're in episode 4, um, but I do want to do that at some point for you guys. I think it's a really valuable thing to see. It's something I think more people should do. So we're past the half hour. I'm going to shut up. Thank you again for being here again. Uh, my name is Eddie Bush. Thank you for coming by. If you're new, I hope you'll follow or subscribe. And if you like the video, have a great rest of your day. Take care.